Presidential Diary. We bring you some major decisions taken by the President this week, including some major ministerial reshuffle to his government with immediate effect. Also, a call on more farmers to join the program for planting for food and jobs as President Akufo-Addo joined the chiefs and people of Ada for this year's Asafotufiame Festival.
I would urge the Ada East and West District Assemblies, as well as the Ada Traditional Council, to develop a plan towards exploiting the vast potentials of the area to ensure residents benefit from their local resources.
Hello, I'm Jefferson Saki in the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi, where President Akufo-Addo is embarking on a 5-day working visit to this particular region. We bring you more details of that in next week's edition of the Presidential Diary. But this week's edition starts right now. Hello again and welcome. The Presidential Diary is brought to you by the Communications Directorate at the Presidency. And here are some major decisions taken by the President this week. On the 6th of August 2018, the President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo, relieved the Energy Minister, Mr. Boakye Ejiakon, of his position. In a letter signed by the Director of Communications, Mr. Eugene Ahin, reads, "The President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo, has by letter dated the 6th of August 2018 relieved the Minister of Energy, Mr. Boakye Ejiakon, of his position with immediate effect. President Akufo-Addo has asked Mr. Boakye Ejiakon to hand over his office to the Minister for Land and Natural Resources, Mr. John Peter Amewu, who will temporarily act as Minister for Energy until the substantive appointment is made. The President wished Mr. Boakye Ejiakon well in his future endeavor." This statement followed another release from the Presidency in which the President of the Republic, Nana Akufo-Addo, made the following changes to the composition of his government with immediate effect. John Peter Amewu, former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, acting as Minister for Energy, is now the Minister for Energy. Kweku Asamoah Treme, former Borno Ahafo Regional Minister, is now Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Honorable Kofi Ada, Member of Parliament for Navrongo constituency and former Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources, is now the Minister for Aviation. Cecilia Abena-Dapa, former Minister for Aviation, is now the Minister for Sanitation and Water Resources. Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid, the former Minister for Information, is now Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development. Other ministers affected include the Honorable Kojo Opong Nkrumah, Member of Parliament for Ofuasi Eyirebi constituency and former Deputy Minister for Information, is now Minister for Information Designate. The 7th on the list is the Honorable Cynthia Morrison, Member of Parliament for Aguna West constituency, now Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection Designate. Paulina Abayaje, former Ambassador to Italy, is now the Upper East Regional Minister Designate. The 10th on the list is Honorable Martin Otijako, Member of Parliament for Tichima North constituency, now Deputy Borno Ahafo Regional Minister Designate. Honorable Boniface Abubakar Sadiq, Member of Parliament for Medina constituency and former Minister for Inner City and Zongo Development, is now the Minister of State at the office of the Vice President. Roxin Bukari, former Upper East Regional Minister, is now Minister of State at the office of the President. Pius Enam Ajide, former Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports, is now Deputy Minister for Information, while Perry Curtis Okujeto, former Deputy Minister of Information, is now Deputy Minister for Youth and Sports. The final on the list is Otiko Afisa Jaba, former Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, now Ambassador Designate to Italy. President Akufo-Addo is hopeful that Parliament will expedite the vetting of the Ministers Designate for Information and Gender, Children and Social Protection and Regional Ministers Designates for Upper East and Borno Ahafo Region, as well as the Deputy Regional Minister Designates for Borno Ahafo Region, so they can assume their respective offices as quickly as possible. This was contained in a statement signed by the Director of Communications of the Presidency, Mr. Eugene Ahin. Well, The president on Saturday, the 4th of August 2018, also joined the chiefs and people of Ada in the Dangbe East of the Greater Accra region to celebrate the Asafo Tufiami Festival. The festival, which is held on the first week of August every year, allows the people of the Ada traditional area to celebrate their Asafo companies and the ancient wars they fought to protect themselves and their lands from foreign invasion. It's a festival of musketry firing, drumming, singing of war songs and dancing to cheer the leadership of their respective war captains. This year's festival was under the theme mobilizing local resources towards development and growth of the traditional area. In modern times, the festival has however become a time for indigents of Ada living elsewhere and abroad to come back home to take stock of issues hindering the development of the area and make plans for the next year. President Akufo-Addo assured the gathering that his government wants to bring progress and prosperity to all parts of the country in a balanced, inclusive development of the Ghanaian nation. He encouraged as many farmers as possible to join the program for planting for food and jobs, which is expected to cover 1 million farmers by the year 2020.
One district, one factory, a confirmation. You are the solution to Galamsey and many more. Now listen.
I'm very happy to be here today to join you to celebrate this year's Asafo Tufiami Festival. Ever since the Ghanaian people, by the grace of God, voted for me to become President of the Republic, this is the very first festival I'm attending in the Greater Accra region. So like you, this day will always remain etched in my memory. I'll not forget this day. My presence here is not only to join you to celebrate this festival, but also to serve the purpose of strengthening the cordial relations existing between the chiefs and people of the Ada traditional area and the MPP government. Traditionally, my party, the New Patriotic Party, has not done well in Ada, but having heard the warmth of the response of the people, I'm hopeful of a new future. I'm determined that my government will work to convince you we deserve your love and support. We want to bring progress and prosperity to all parts of the country in a balanced, inclusive development of the Ghanaian nation. Mobilizing our country's resources has meant that we have begun rolling out our flagship policy initiatives like the One District, One Factory project and the program for planting for food and jobs. The implementation of the One District, One Factory policy has meant that 36 factories are at various stages of being operationalized, which will create thousands of direct and indirect jobs. The Lantiani Soya Milk Factory, located in Asotware, Ishai Usudoku, has been inaugurated and is fully functional. I would urge the Ada East and West District Assemblies, as well as the Ada Traditional Council, to develop a plan towards exploiting the vast potentials of the area to ensure residents benefit from their local resources. The Songo Lagoon, for example, about which a passionate appeal has been made to me, has the potential to produce salt in large scale and commercial quantities from its current status. Government is collaborating with all relevant stakeholders to ensure that at long last, the necessary investment is secured for its development into a modern salt industry. The successful implementation of this project will create employment for lots of people and generate the much needed revenue for development. Nene Abraham Kabu Akwaku III Ladies and gentlemen, a key challenge of our economies, like many other economies in Africa, is its infrastructural deficit. We are embarking on an aggressive public-private partnership program to attract investment in the development of both our rail and railway infrastructure. We're hopeful that with solid private sector participation, we can develop a modern railway network with strong production center linkages and with the potential to connect us to our neighbors to the north, i.e. Burkina Faso, to the west, i.e. Côte d'Ivoire, and to the east, i.e. Togo. Nonetheless, the Minister for Roads and Highways, Honorable Kwesi Amoakwanta, MP for Atiwa West, has informed me that the roads in the Ada area are receiving his undivided attention, and work on all abandoned projects will commence again very, very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, I need the support of all of you, whether you voted for me or not, whether you supported my party or not, to achieve this goal. In the period of my mandate, I will need your support so that together we can rebuild Ghana and let the Black Star shine and shine again. May God bless the people of Ada and us all. And may God bless our homeland Ghana and make her great and strong.
You're watching the Presidential Diary, brought to you by the Communications Directorate at the Presidency. We're back after this short break. Welcome back to the Presidential Diary, brought to you by the Communications Directorate at the Presidency, coming to you today from the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi, where President Akufo-Addo is on a 5-day working visit to this region. The President has pledged to ensure that telecommunication and ICT facilities are spread to every part of the country. He described as unacceptable the situation where basic telephony infrastructure was largely concentrated in major economic centers, despite the significant development of telecommunication services across the country. The project will connect Abenaso and surrounding communities with ICT facilities and telecommunication services. The town and 499 other communities would now enjoy 3G coverage. The rural telephony project is being rolled out by the National Communications Authority and the Ghana Investments Fund for Electronic Communications, or GIFEC, in partnership with MTN and Huawei Technology Services. They would provide data and voice connectivity to 1,020 unserved communities nationwide.
So from today, Abenaso and 429 other rural communities across the country will enjoy 3G coverage. The use of web applications such as WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram will now be possible on your mobile phones. Junior high school students who recently took their BEC exam can also check their results online once the results are published. Nana Abenaso Hene, my good and worthy brother, from today you will have no excuse not to contact me. Nananum, ladies and gentlemen, offering basic telephony connectivity services to our rural communities, I am confident will help open up Abenaso and other rural communities to opportunities for the development of skills and knowledge, as well as the growth of businesses and the local economy. And Kwesi Amoakwanta, Minister for Roads and Highways, charged me to tell you, Nana Abenaso, that the road is also going to be done right up to bitumen level. The big challenge now, for which I'm eliciting your help, Nanano, is how to ensure that Abnaso and other beneficiary communities utilize fully the opportunities that this project will bring to them. We will want to see this project bring about a positive impact on the lives of residents of this community and other beneficiary communities. To the youth gathered here, I challenge all of you to take advantage of the opportunities that will be offered to you by this facility. You are living in perhaps the most exciting time in our history, so please make the best of it. Some say this is our time. I say this is your time, and tomorrow will be the time of your children. We want to build a new Ghanaian civilization where fair opportunities are given to all to live dignified, productive lives by dint of their hard work, creativity, and sense of enterprise. It is a promising phase in the Ghanaian journey.
It's obviously been a very busy week for the president because 1,350 businesses from all 10 regions of the country are the first beneficiaries of the Presidential Business Support Program, an initiative of the Akufo-Addo government. Each of the 1,350 beneficiaries are to receive from the Ministry for Business Development continuous training in capacity building, mentorship and business advisory services, among others. In a brief presentation at the presidency, the president noted that over the past 2 decades, countries that have made rapid economic strides have always been the ones that have encouraged high levels of investment in entrepreneurial development. About 7,000 micro, small and medium-sized businesses applied for support under the Presidential Business Support Program.
His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, Wonder Bushin. No fear, no fear, war, okay, Wonder Bushin. Hey, Nana. Nana, in my fable. Nana mean tuning, I swear me. Nimbashi by you. No, no to my favor, sir. Get that be petroleum engineer, and Tashia, Machuni. No need work out belly penny apply. You can business plan me. If you no fear no bonus anima fail, draw mona. It's on me. No, nana, me double shie. You recommend double shie. You hold double shie. Nana me double shonu. No mabo jemo. No ma jobo. No fear no ni yo into me. No mabo wale. No nyo fe. No ma jobo no.
Oman penini. Nana Akufo-Addo. Pache from Nana Kunedu Yadom. Oman penini ne na pamfo. And then you may a year ni so any energy any who jury and a pamfo baby jin hanom. Nana, near soon that yes, yens so. I differ fissy a bit of a tree. Now, there somewhere there was a pan say. I'm ramping for a year. You may dear you much church of our drink as soon with him dear so at a call and ye happy nep penny. I a bear mubiano. Miniminia sabe and a niye. Penny for 9 years free to say, young come man. Ton suffer yenny, our my year Jumina my yeno, and you know, and what didn't for Virginia Hanominano. Ye can't say, yet there was it, yet there was a brew, yet there was a bimbium, yet there was it. I won't call super and I drink power. Name will be a show boss say. Scammer may be ano, ye be ye dreamer, send ye say a fata, and what didn't cross any dear cross or dog cross, nay, this canoe, about 2 baby cry a fano.
This initiative, dubbed the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan, NEIP, headed by the dynamic young lawyer John Kumar, was to focus on providing business development services, startup incubators, and funding for young businesses to enable them grow and become successful. We're here today to witness the climax of this year's selection process, which has ensured that 1,300 businesses from all parts of the country are going to be the first recipients of the Presidential Business Support Program. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past 2 decades, the countries that have made rapid economic strides have been the ones that have encouraged high levels of investment in entrepreneur development. The growth of a more entrepreneurial economy has led to the creation of jobs and the acceleration of economic growth in those countries. It should not really be a difficult thing for us to do, because it might not look like it these days with everybody seeming to be looking for jobs in government. But I dare say the wealth of this nation was built on the private sector and the entrepreneurial spirit of the people. Time was when the good money was made by the private sector and the risk takers, not by public officials. We need to get back to those times. Ghanaians are renowned for their sense of enterprise, creativity, and innovation, and the moment has come to give full rein to those instincts again.
And with that story, end today's edition of the Presidential Diary, brought to you by the Communications Directorate of the Presidency. www.presidency.gov.gh is the official website of the President, on Facebook, Twitter, as well as on Instagram for more updates. I'm Jefferson Saki, coming to you today from the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi, where President Akufo-Addo is on a 5-day working visit to the city. We'll bring you details of that in next week's edition of the Presidential Diary. See you next time.